Hello, hope everybody's doing well. This is Rick, N8SDR, doing a video of Station Master Pro. Station Master Pro is a multifunctional logging application that can do more than just logging. And this is the third version of it. This is Station Master Pro that we'll be going over. There's Station Master and Station Master 2. So let's get over to the main monitor and get started on how to get this and set it up. All right, the first thing you're going to need to do is open up a web browser. And in that web browser, we're going to type in stationmasterpro.com. And that should take you to the site here. And if you have an account already for Station Master, you can do the login. If not, you're going to want to create an account. Once you do that and you have your account, you can come back to the website here. And you're going to click on the down arrow to download Station Master Pro. You'll also be able to download the original version and Station Master 2. By the way, you can run all three of these on the same PC. They all install in separate directories. They don't share files between each other. So you can run multiple different versions of the application. We're going to be going over Station Master Pro, so you're going to want to click on download this guy here and then log in, and you'll get the downloads link. Let me here, and you're going to click on the download Windows installer. Once that downloads, you're going to run the exe file. And I'm not going to do that, but it's pretty simple. You'll download it and run the exe file. At that point, you'll be presented with the first setup screen, since you won't have it installed prior to this. And I'm going to minimize these guys here, and we'll go and do that now. So let me stop this guy here. You should be presented with this screen here, and you're going to want to put in your call sign, a station call, your call sign, your name, your grid locator. I do use the 6-character format. You can use the 4-character format as well. So you could just do the EM79 or follow it more precise with the 6-character grid square locator. You're also going to need type in your QTH, your ITU zone, and your CQ zone. You can leave the log power blank, or you can pre-populate it with a fixed value. The log cat power function here will work with some applications. It will not work with TCI. By the way, this video is mainly going to be covering the TCI version of setting this up, or not actually the version, it's all the same version, but how to set this up with TCI and a few of the other external applications, Thetis, and this would also work with Expert Electronics, EESDR. They use TCI as well. The Thetis version of TCI isn't quite the full-fledged version of TCI, so there is some functionality missing. The ability to do audio over TCI and the ability to extract data, like the amount of power level, that feature is not incorporated in TCI. That's in Thetis itself. So I leave that blank. You can put in a number, whatever you want to, or if you're using another radio, that's got the functionality that supports telling an application how much power you're running, then by all means turn this on. The other thing you'll need to get is your API key. You'll be able to obtain the API key from the actual Station Master website, the Station Master Pro website. So if we go back to Station Master Pro and you want to click on your account settings, you can click the show icon here. I'm not going to do that, obviously. Nobody else needs to see my API key, but copy and paste that. Once you copy, you want to paste it into the section here for the Station Master Cloud API key. And then you can click on the check API key, and this will let you know if the API key is actually functional for the right version, the right call sign, all of that you have it tied to. If you've got multiple versions of call signs, and you have you'll have different API keys for each call sign. So that's a way to check to make sure that that API key is actually the correct one for that call signs. These two will have to match. So you can see that my API key is valid there. I clicked that a few times. The next tab over would be the cat control. And by the way, when you click on these and you click on save and restart, this is going to restart each one of these tabs. I would suggest you click the save and restart when you do each one of these tabs to get the full functionality of everything going here. So cat control would be the next one. Means we're running TCI. We're only going to be really involved with rig number 5. The application will support up to 5 rigs. You can choose which rig you want to run at any particular time when you launch the application. I do have an ICOM 9100. I'm not going to get into setting that one up today. We'll probably do another video on that at a later date. But for TCI, you're going to need your local IP address of the system that's running Thetis. This would be typically your local loopback 127.0.0.1, and whatever port, UDP port you have set up in Thetis as well. Typically that would be 50001 or 40001. You can find those within Thetis itself, and that would be underneath the setup tab. And then you want to go to serial network MIDI cat control and click on the network tab. And here you can find your IP, your local IP, and whatever port you choose to use for TCI. I do have send initial VFO, use RX1, duplicate RX2, CW becomes CW upper if it's 10 megahertz, 30 meters or above. And you can check or uncheck the emulate EESDR3 protocols. I was playing around with this to see if I could get it to export the power ratings by using EESDR3. It didn't work for me. But you can leave these checked or unchecked. It doesn't really matter. And then if you're using TCI spots or you want to use the cluster, you want to turn on TCI spots in here as well, and then set how many maximum number of spots that you wanted to display on the pan adapter that you see up here. Okay, make sure the server is running. The other thing that Station Master Pro has in it is a waterfall, and you would want to enable that. I'm only using it on my receive 1. You can enable it for receiver 2 as well. And again, the UDP port, typically the default for waterfall information, this plays out in like N1MM, also in Station Master Pro, as I mentioned. And I'm going to use UDP port 13064. The baud rate you can set to the send rate you can set to a maximum of 8. This will give you the smoothest and quickest waterfall information. Also, that 8 value works really well in N1MM. There's a video that Richie did about this a while back. I think it was a couple years ago, maybe early last year or late last year. So once you have that set up, you want to hit apply and OK. And then back over on Station Master, let's go full screen here. If the okay. You can also set up your audio in and out within Thetis if you're using virtual audio cables, VV cable, VAC, whatever application you're using for audio in and out. You can set those as well. To get the full description of these, when you click on it, you can hover over the fields here and it will populate the full text instead of it being truncated on you. That's true with any of the fields here, any of the windows. If you click on them and then hover over them, you'll get the full definition of that particular device or that field. It'll pop out in the full window instead of being the truncated version of the text. I will put a link in the description of this. There is a video that Stu did that describes setting it up with OmniRig and some of the Kenwood's Yaesu ICOM. So I will put that link in the description as well. Like I said, you can run 5 rigs at you can set up the application to use with 5 different rigs. Okay. The next tab over is rotor control. Again, you can set up the 4 different rotors in here. You can display 2 of them at once. Again, drop down list. And you can scroll through, find your rotor that you're using. If it's a rotor that supports USB control or Ethernet control, believe Stu is adding PST rotator to this as well. So if you have a rotor that supports PST rotor, you'll be able to add that going forward. Some of the functionality is not fully implemented yet in the application. Just kind of want to make note of that. It is a fairly new release, Station Master Pro. There is, like I said, version 2 and version 1 out there as well. And you can run them all. You can download them all, install them all. They're all will install in separate directories, so you can choose which version you want to run. Stu is being very active about fixing little bugs in this. So if you find a bug that's not working correctly, or a bug or a feature that's not working correctly, let him know. I will put a link to his Discord server. That is the best way to reach out to Stu G5STU regarding any issues or feature requests, things like that, is via his Discord server. And I will put a link in the description of the video to Stu's Discord server for Station Master as well. You have an accounts tab. This will go for your QRZ username, password. If you want Station Master to upload logged contacts that you do to QRZ, you would want to place your API key in here. Make sure you do that. EQSL is also in here, and LOTW, station location, your default locations for LOTW if you want to use LOTW export too. The sound tab, this I believe is going to be mostly involved for a lot of the remote features that will be forthcoming as well, to be able to log in and run a radio remotely via the Station Master application. So you would have your microphone on your local PC that you're using, and whatever speakers you're using on that particular system, you'd put in here. There's another tab. We'll come to this a little bit later on. I think, oh, wait a second. It might have been under sound. It's under user interface. It's coming up. QSO receiving and forwarding. This mainly deals with ADIF, import and export. So like WSJTX, JTDX, MSHV, log for OM, N1MM, var AC, FL Digi. You can set up ports so that when you log a contact in those particular applications, it will export it, send it to Station Master so it shows up in the log here. If you want to run multiple applications, you can place a comma after each one of the UDP ports or XML ports. You want to do a comma, then space, then the next port number. Make sure you enable the fields that you need to have enabled. User interface. This is where that register PTT, if you're doing something remotely, again, this will be kind of forthcoming. So I don't think this is fully implemented yet. Stu can correct me maybe if he sees the video in the comments on this. I don't believe this is fully implemented yet. In here, you'll have your options to for call sign searches, displaying from log to QRZ. If it's first name only, if you want to fill in comments from a previous contact that you've had with that individual or a station before. User set these how your user preferences. Third-party applications, again, this will deal mainly with like OmniRig, HamLib, using applications that are COM-port related, where you have a start and an end, unlike TCI that can support multiple applications at one time. You can do that through OmniRig, HamLib, and the like. Again, I'll put a link to the video that Stu did regarding how to set that up in here as well. Your cluster tab. I am using TCI Bridge for my clusters. I prefer to use that with Thetis. And it has its own external telnet host that you can set up in here. I'll touch on that here in a second. But you would put your telnet host, if it's the IP address and whatever port number that particular telnet host is using, you want to fill in here. And typically you would put your call sign for the username. That's how most of them work. Some of them do have a password, so if you're using a host that requires a password, make sure you fill the password in here, or you're not going to get information from that telnet host. So regarding the TCI, if you use TCI Bridge version 1.1.44, I believe, and I think maybe the prior version to this, if you go into setup, you have an option to use telnet output, and I just used the local loopback number IP address 127.0.0.1, and then I gave it a port number of 7375. The forwarding here, this applies to when you do a spot or you make a comment and you want to send that out to the telnet provider and then have them repopulate, send that back out of the host. So like, I was spotting somebody or made a comment that, an X station was running, upper sideband, good signal or good operator, whatever. That comment would go out over this forward post here that's in TCI Bridge. Minimize this guy. CW keyers, it does support WinKey. So if you're using a WinKeyer, you can add two different WinKeyers. I do have one on COM14. And typically the baud rate for most of the WinKeyers, I believe, is 1200. I would try 1200 as a starting point. It should work at that. If you know what yours is and you've got it set up different, then obviously enter that value in here for the baud rate. Make sure you click save and restart. The application will restart then. I'm not going to restart. We're just going to hit cancel here for mine because I've already got it up and running. Station Master Pro does have a nice waterfall and display in here. You can, if you're using rig control via TCI, OmniRig, a direct connection to, over a rig's USB cat control like the ICOMs, the Azus, the Kenwoods, you can left click in the waterfall area and it will change frequency. Your radio should follow that. then. Okay. If you right click in the field of the waterfall, you'll be able to adjust the level density, the style. You can change colors on the displayed signal, adjust your noise floor, and your speed of the waterfall itself. All of the tabs here are pop outs, and you can drag these as individual windows around, so you can customize Station Master Pro to your likings. Make sure that you hit the plus sign here. It'll pop up with another option. You have like PSK in here, the RBNs, your maximum usable frequency. There's a lightning map, and then you can open a separate URL. So if you click on these, it should populate, open up like PSK reporter, and you can set whatever modes and call signs if you're looking for send and receive on a particular call sign or particular band. Your typical PSK that just actually takes you to the PSK reporter website. You can open another tab and do like the maximum usable frequency then, so you have that data displayed in here as well. All of the windows are pop outs, like I said, so you can drag these guys around in here. The virtual audio display, you can pop this guy out by hitting the little icon in the corner up here and drag this wherever you want to put it. Once you have your layouts set up how you like them, you want to go up to the layout field up here and click save current layout. That'll save the layout preference how you like it, so you can customize these guys around. You can open and close windows. We'll go over this in a second. To your likings, what fields that you use, what fields are most important to you, how you like your layout. You can customize all of that and then save it underneath the layout. So let's start at the top up here underneath the with the system menus. So file will take you back to the settings tab here to go back and do your configurations. So that's how you get back to your operator, cat control, your accounts, etc. You have a restart function in here, which will just restart Station Master Pro, and you have an exit in here as well to close Station Master Pro, or you can click the collapsing X up here in the top right hand corner as well to exit. You can export your ADIFs. It will export it in an ADIF format. You can upload them to LOTW. You can open a log database folder, so you can save a database folder and open that log folder as well. You can import your ADIF file. So if you're wanting to start, with Station Master Pro, and let's say you're coming from log4OM or N1MM, AC log, etc., you can export that in an ADIF format, save it on your desktop or whatever folder you want to save it in, do a browse, do an import ADIF file, grab that ADIF, click open, and it will import it into Station Master Pro. The updates, we'll check for updates to see if you're on the latest version. I would do this fairly often, a couple times a day, maybe in the next few weeks here. This will settle down as time goes on, obviously, but Stu is being very diligent on adding features, fixing issues. Again, there will be a link to his Discord server, so if you do run across a bug or a feature request, etc., the best place to get a hold of him and to make that comment is on his Discord server. Again, like I said, I'll put that link in the description here as well for his server. Your run modes, these will come into more play here when we look at the cloud version tab in here. It will highlight the text in there, whatever, if you're calling CQ, calling CQ DX, if you're search and pouncing in a contest, if you're contesting, if you're a net control operator, or if you joined a net, you can display those little fields in the Station Master cloud application, which we'll look at here in a minute. Well, actually, here, let's just do it now. So these run modes here will typically come into play if you go to the cloud tab and you log in. Come on, get back over here. I've got calling queue, so enabled here. Okay, so your home screen will take you back to this menu here, where you have a running left column of guys that are, most recent logs that have been made, guys running Station Master. And this will apply with Station Master 2, Station Master 1, and Station Master Pro or Station Master 3. You'll get the running list of those most current log that are using the applications, the Station Master application. You have a hot list. These are stations that are, being called often, like your pileups. And then active pileups, the guys that are in Station Master that are, have an active pileup going on. It'll display if they're running like FT8 or, some other digital mode. It should highlight those. CW, voice. You have a voice column for the most voice contacts, most data. That'll fall underneath all of your digital. There is also another column that's most CW. I don't see that highlighted yet today, but you'll have a listing for that. And then across the top, you have a listing for, ops of the day. When it closes out at the end of the day, the time rollover for the end of day, you'll have a leaderboard list up here of who the top operators that day were for voice, for data, and for CW. Let's go back up to the top field here where we were. You have your profile list. Your default profile will always be the first profile that you've set up in here. You can create, let's say you're using this in a club environment, and you have several members of the club, and each one of them wants to have their own profile set up in Station Master. You can do that by going down here and create new profile, add call sign. You would enter a new call sign in here, and then you're going to set up everything like you did prior. And then you can come back in here underneath the profile, select that profile. It'll show up in a list here. Click on it, and then that individual settings, their layout, their preferences, and all that will show up in here for that particular user. Layout screen, like I said, this will, you can reset this to your default layout, which is basically this guy here in the screen. I'm going to go back and try to remember. I think this is the one profile I used. There's, if you hover over this, I believe there's a list that pops up. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I hope I didn't just save that. No, it should load. Yeah, okay, here. No, I think I did just save that over the top of my preferred one. Oh, well, I'll go back and straighten that out in a minute. Let's just pull up the prior one here. I can edit it. Okay, I can just go back and edit this one then. So this is, you can save your layouts however you choose to. Basically, for this will be a quick edit for me because I just turned off this S meter dial down here. I don't need this. It doesn't work with TCI, so I close this, and I think that's about it for me and this. And I can save this layout. I'm going to save this as, I'll just make a new one. I'll call it 4. Okay. All right. So you can do, save your different layouts. Let's say you're using them for a different contest or whatever. You can create layouts for different contests. You can create layouts for different users. All very customizable, so you can drag these fields around. Like I said, you can pop these guys out. The like the virtual audio visualizer here. Let me actually turn that on. I think I don't have VAC running right now, which is why that should not be working. Let's go back into HF and go back here. There's some CW here, so that should show up in here. Yep, there we go. So there's the virtual audio analyzer, or not analyzer, visualizer. You can select what you want to have display, what source. Clicking the line here, you'll have the drop down, then just select the source that you want to display. But you can drag these guys out. Like I said, you can click this, drag it out, resize it, you know, make it bigger, move it around on the screen wherever you want to, etc. If I go back here and go load layout 4, oops, there, it put it back how I had it. So that's how the layout window works. Your Windows tab, this is where you can open and close, display other functions of the application. Like I said, it's more than just a logger. You know, I'm using it with TCI, so I have the main window here. I have TCI up here at the top corner, so I know that that's what radio it's connected to. Your S meter, which is this guy here. You can populate these. Again, this won't work with TCI, but some of the rigs, OmniRig connections will work with this. The Yaesu ICOM, some of the Kenwoods. I do have the rotors turned off, but you can turn, you know, open up your controls for your rotor 1, rotor 2. You can place them in, you know, different areas wherever you want to. So you have access to those as well. Again, that's a function I'm not using, so I'm going to close those off, turn them off here. I just uncheck those. But you have your band mode, your band and modes right here. Your audio visualizer, which I have turned on here. Video feed. So let's say, was it some of the ICOMs, I believe, have a DVI port on them for doing, you know, spectral display out to a video source. You can, with an adapter, I believe you need an adapter to do that. You can do the video feed into that, which will open up a video window here for you too. So, you know, you could basically just have Station Master Pro running. You wouldn't need to look at your radio because you'd have everything right here all displayed on one screen for you, or multiple screens if you're spreading this out over multiple monitors or windows, whatever, however you want to do that. And I'm not using the video feed, so I don't need that. Turn it off. But really neat. Oh, there's an update now. See what I told you? Stu is very proactive about fixing things and adding features. I'm going to skip this for right now. If you click install, it's just going to close the application or download the new update, and then once it downloads, it'll close the application. It'll give you the option to click install and then launch it again. So I'm going to click skip for this, right? Or not skip, but no for right now. Launcher, this will open up the separate applications for you. It will bring them up to install them if you don't have them installed currently. So like Yonic SSTV, MMS STV, SSTV, those two applications I do have installed. And if I click on these, it should, it'll take a second. Yeah, it'll bring that application up for me. So I can launch that right from within the Station Master Pro application. Close this guy. VAR AC, VARA, ADIF Master. You can go back here to the Station Master Pro website. QSL Master, which is another one of Stu's utilities, which I'll touch base on a little bit later. I'll do another video on that. It ties in with Station Master Pro as well to automatically send out EQSL cards when you make a contact and log it. It does it all automatically for you. Really neat application as well. We'll do a video on that. Here's where you would select your rigs. Like I said, you can add 5 rigs to Station Master Pro. So you have your rig selection here. I'm using currently the TCI for the Hermes Light, or I like to refer to it as the Herpes Light. We all know that. You have your scope display, so you can select different scopes, from your different rig sources. And by the way, you can also do this from like WSJTX, JTDX. It doesn't do I don't think it'll do the active scope thing from MSHV. It might. I like MSHV. That's my preference for FT8, FT4, MSK, those types of digital modes. That's the go-to for me, is MSHV. Again, like I said, you can run those digital modes and have that export, when you make a contact and log it in that application, that it will export and show up in the log fields here for you for Station Master Pro. As you can see, I got a whole bunch of them in here for FT8. Was goofing around with that last few weeks. Some FT4. This goes all the way back. Other modes. Got a boatload of stuff in here. Where are we at? Rig selections, scope selections, logging templates. This is something that's still being worked on, but you'll have your default log. You'll be able to choose contest logs, parks on the air, your POTA logs. This is all stuff that's forthcoming in the works. And then your preset frequencies for some of the slow scan TV stuff. So if you click on these, it should change the rig over, put it on that band and that frequency. So we go here. Yeah, it just switched everything over. Yeah, you can see here. Let me leave this window up and we'll change bands. So if you watch my Thetis application, it's at 14.230 now. And if I click on one of the presets in here, let's go to 40 meters. It'll just change it over for me. Okay, so you can see that TCI is working here. They follow each other. Station Master follows Thetis. Thetis follows Station Master. All over TCI. And if I have MSHV running or FL Digi, they'll all follow. They'll all follow each other. Makes it really nice. And then you have your help tab here, so you can go up to about, check your versions. There's support links in here. Stu, kind of a recommendation here. You might want to change these link values to some other color that makes it a little bit easier to show these up. Just an FYI, if you happen to watch this, maybe make these in red, or maybe a bright green or something, so they show up a little bit easier instead of this blue on this background. It does make it a little bit difficult to see. Again, you can also check for your updates here as well. All right, you got your logging field here. So this is where you would enter your call sign of the station that you're working or you want to log. So let me just put one in here for a test sake here. Pretty quick on looking these up too. So, it'll tell you how many QSOs you've had with this individual before. This comes up in green if it's a station you have not worked before. This will show up in green, tell you that it's the first time you've worked this station. But if you click on this, or actually if I open my log now, go back to my log here, it's going to show the last, the 10 QSOs that I've had with Tim. So they're all going to be listed right here. Same with, like say, pull up Murray. You know, here's all the Qs I've had with Murray before. I don't think that Stu and I have worked, so that one should show up in green. Let's find out here. I'll put his call in. So G5STU. Yeah, I haven't worked Stu yet, so it's in green. Tells you that it's the first contact. And Stu, I need to take care of that. We're gonna have to do something here. You would enter your signal reports here. After you do all that, I'm going to fill this in as test. If I hit enter now, it's going to go up to the cloud as well. Fill in here. Now it's got a cloud ID, and if I go over to the cloud version here, you'll see N8 SDR just worked, G5 STU, and this was a test. Okay. So mode that I'm on, the band that I'm on, it fills in all that stuff for you. All right. So I'll have to delete that one out of there. We go back to log, and if I highlight number 1 here, right click, and delete selected row. Sorry, Stu. Mouse getting dry. We'll have to make that an official contact here soon. But that's how you do the logging. Again, it's very quick. It really pulls the information down really fast. This is one thing that I really, really liked about Station Master Pro. I was running Log4OM. I tried to use that in a contest, and if you get a good run going, I granted Log4OM is not a contest logger, but if you get a good run going, let's just say you're goofing around and you get a good run going and stuff, Log4OM to me was slow and lanky, and it just the lookups were not snappy. It would struggle on doing lookups at a fairly good clip. This, you can pop these call signs in here really quick, and they just take off. Let's think of something here. Oh, they pull up pretty quick. Even guys, that was one that's another one I haven't worked before, so it had to pull that information out from QRZ. This one should pop up pretty quick. Don's that's first contact I would have with or not first contact I've had with Don. This is I've worked him several times before as well, but just try to find somebody we haven't worked before. Heck, I don't know. To make up a call sign. Oh man. Yeah, okay. So whoever Daniel is here, I've never worked him before. It shows up in green, but you can see it popped that up really quick. And again, if you leave this tab on QRZ, it will pull their QRZ sites up for you for these individual calls as well, on the fly. Go back to Stu's here again. So again, it's all pretty quick pulling this up. If I want to spot Stu, I can click spot right here, and it'll send a spot out for the cluster to spot Stu on, this frequency and this mode that I'm on right now. You can hit clear here and exit the call out of there. You can hit escape on that too, or delete and go back. Let's see, the next thing we should go over is the clusters. So you have your cluster in here as well. So you have them sorted by columns. Again, I'm not populating a lot of these because of the way that I have TCI bridge set up. It only activates on whatever band I'm on at the time. So until these time runs off, I think I have these set for 15 minutes. When we were over on 20 meters before, that showed up there. The band map cluster will show up as well. If I go down to most of these guys, probably, I don't know, I'm going to say FT8, you know, or CW. So get down in that range, you'll see that the band map listings show up here as well. Again, you can click on these guys. Radio will follow. Mode should follow. Should all follow. You know, depending on how they were listed by the whatever. Sorry, got to click no for this right now. However, the DX cluster spot came in, it should list that mode, and if the mode's correct, it'll go over to the right mode and the frequency that it was spotted on. So you have again the scope tab, your log tab. If I clear this out of there, I should get my full log back. So full log, cloud tab, your QRZ tab. The SDR tab, this is really neat too. This is, let me make this, well, we'll leave it down here. If, let's, as an example, let's say you're in a net and, you know, there's a few guys that you can't hear really well in the net from your location. You can open up one of the web SDR receivers, save it, you know, as a set, do a set here and give it a name and save it. You can go back to that. Then this, you know, if I populate this now and turn this on, this web SDR, and I go to, come on, turn it off here. It's on, yeah. Highlight this first and then turn it on. This should follow go back here. Whoops, sorry. Too many windows are open. I just went to 30 meters. So this, the way this works is whatever frequency the rig is tracking in Station Master Pro, the way that Stu has this set up, the SDR receiver itself should follow that and track as well. So if I move these frequencies here, you can see the cursor down here in the web SDR that I've pulled up is also tracking with that. Okay. And the mode should as well. So this should all follow each other. Whoops. Out of range. Let me get back up. So really handy. Like if you're, again, I guess a good scenario to use that in would be like a net where you're not hearing one of the other stations or a couple of other stations from your location. So you can pull it up on our web SDR, listen to it. When you go into transmit, this should mute this, so you shouldn't get that back when you go into transmit. And then when you unkey, you should have full audio back on the web SDR as well as your local rig. Let me turn this guy off. So I'll have to talk over that. CW. This goes back to the WinKeyer. So you can select, you know, if you're using WinKeyer 1 or WinKeyer 2, again, that's set up here in settings. And then your last tab underneath CW keyers. So I do have a WinKeyer set up on port 14. And again, I think most baud rates for these WinKeyers typically are 1200. So you can set your macros in here. This will cause this to go into, you know, if you click on one of these macros, it'll send these out. Let me go to a dummy load so we're not bothering anybody. And we'll go to CW upper here. Let's actually get on in band. Not that it's going to matter because I'm in a dummy load, but just for the sake of doing this correctly. So get down here, the bottom of 30 meters. So if I'm in here and I want to send my CQ, I should be able to hit TX1 here. And it's in TX mode now. Here, let me move this window out of the way. You can see watch over here, you'll be able to see it go into TX mode. So yeah, I've got pure signal turned on and power set really low, which is causing that to go red. Pay no attention to that. But you have your macros set up in here. You'll also be able to, you know, when you transmit, it's going to display each character will turn red while that character is being transmitted. It does have built-in decode for CW as well. This, in my opinion, needs a little bit of work still, but it does work. It is functional. You need to be, you know, have an audio source that's live. So I'd have to go into turn on VAC again here. We can try this. Let's see if we can find some CW. Let me slide this out of the way a little bit. Looks like there's some right here. Sorry, working with multiple screens. So I've got VAC, I've got my input set, and if I hit start decoding here, you want to slide this so it just starts to turn colors here. Okay, there we go. So you have a built-in decoder as well. This will take you a little while to kind of get used to. You got to be able to adjust the slider for the decode level that you need, and again the speed as well. This will send this out. You know, if I was to hit TX now, it will go out at the speed that you have listed here as well. So if you're decoding in this application and you're sending in the application, the transmit speed, your CW speed out will tie into the speed that you have listed here for the words per minute on the breakdown. I believe, I know somebody's going to ask me about Cat Keen here, so real quick, Cat Keen, the ICOM 7300, I know is one that Stu mentioned. I think, yeah, and it's even listed here. It's tested on the 7300. You can do Cat Keen over the USB interface on the ICOM 7300. I think you can on the 7610 as well. I'm not positive about that, so don't hold me to it. And probably a few other radios, maybe some of the Yaesus and Kenwoods as well. So if they support Cat Keen for CW, you should be able to enable this option as well and have it do the keying for you. You have a map feature in here, so you know, if you're working a call sign, again, I'm gonna use Stu in here again. So should pop up, you know, his QRZ picture, you know, whatever he's got up there in the corner. You have a map that goes, it shows from your location to the station location that you're working. And it tells me that that's, you know, it's lit up in red here. That's my first contact with Stu. I haven't worked him before. So pretty neat. Gives you all that information right there on the map. Again, we went over the clusters. PSK reporter, so you can check to see, you know, if you're in a digital mode or whatever mode that you're. I was playing around with Hellscriber earlier. That's why Hell's listed up here. Which, by the way, you know, there's more than just FT8 and FT4, guys. There's a boatload of other digital modes that were out there long before those. I know that FT4 and FT8 are the hot things now, but take a little time to play around with some of these other older modes that were in here. They worked really well too. Hellscriber's one of them that's a really interesting mode. Let's put a little plug in there for Hellscriber. Works pretty well too. It's you can decode pretty deep with that. So PSK maps, PSK reporter. Said the maximum usable frequency map is in here for that. Click the plus sign, you can add more. The reverse beacon networks, you can set that up in here so you have a tab, quick access tab to that. The lightning map, quick access tab to that. you know, open URL. You can type in a URL in here and have it open that particular URL for you when you click on it. Again, if you open these tabs up and you click the save layout, I got to get off of this now because I got sound turned on. It's going to drive me nuts. If you click, go back here. If you click layout now and hit save current layout, it will save all of these tabs that you have open here as well. So just an FYI. I don't want to save all those out, so I'm not going to overwrite my layout field right now. You can change the font size in here too. Make this a little bit easier for you to read if you need to have it have the fonts bigger. It will change the font field up here in the top for you. Okay. What was this? I think. Yeah, close enough. So really neat piece of software. Thanks to for making this and putting it out there for the ham community. I appreciate it, and I'm sure lots of others will as well. Again, I suggest you guys give this a try. He does have I think there is a trial period of Station Master Pro. So if you want to give it a whirl and see if you like it, you can certainly give it a try. I know he does charge either a monthly or yearly fee for Station Master Pro. There's a lot of features in it, a lot of really neat stuff, and he is very, very active on adding new features, fixing issues. So, guys, time's worth a little bit of money, and he is running it off of servers, so he's got to pay for that stuff too. So it all rolls downhill, guys. The guys that are writing software, support them. They're not, it's a hobby and they're doing it because, they like to write their stuff, for their applications and for their use, but they're putting it out there for everybody else to use as well. So you guys should, support one another in this, and, it just makes the whole hobby much, much better. And you'll get a lot more software and a lot more new features and things like that by supporting the guys writing the codes for these things, not just Station Master, but any of these applications that you guys are using. I know hams like to be cheap, but can only be cheap so long, and then new software is not going to come out. So support them. Kick them a couple bucks here and there, enough to buy them a beer or a coffee, or just say thanks. All right, guys, have a great day, and I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we'll look for you again real soon. I'll do another video on some of the other features in here, breakdown in possibly the IC9100, and the QSL Master. I'll try to do a video on that here in the next day or two as well. 7-3, guys. Hope everybody has a great one. I'll just go ahead and download this now while I'm signing off here and do my update on Station Master Pro. Cheers from N8SDR.